Congratulations. If you're watching this video, chances are you are planning to get married sometime soon. And this is just a short video on how to plan the most stress-free and most budget-friendly wedding that you can plan. My name is Allyssa Riley. I've been a wedding musician for, oh my goodness, since I was 13, and it's been many years ago. So I've had my share of weddings, much more than the average person who plans maybe 5 in a lifetime, their own, and maybe a kid or two. So the first consideration is, unfortunately, your budget. And this is so important because so many marriages have issues with money, and a lot of it has to do with they overspent at the wedding. And that would be a tragic end just for one day of your life. So just please realize that if you have a budget of $200, you're not going to have the princess wedding of your dreams. There's ways to make it very beautiful and very intimate and personal, but just realize that there are limits, and you have to consider what you want to keep and what you don't. The first thing you'll probably do is pick a venue. And this is very important because if you want a specific denomination to be married in, like the Episcopal Church, there are a lot of rules that you can and can't do, specifically with the music. I'll get into that a little later. But another thing that's really big now is destination weddings. And while this is very exciting, it is also sometimes limiting to the people who can make it. But this makes it even more crucial to pick your preacher and your musician early, because you're not familiar with the area and the people, and they may have restrictions on what you can and can't do. And be sure with your venue that you know, what their rules are that you can and can't do, the decorations you could have or whatnot. And another idea that could be cheaper is a lot of people during COVID have really improved their outdoor spaces, and some of them have absolutely gorgeous gardens. And if you have a friend who has one, they may be willing to let you use it. Just please remember it is a private home, and people don't want their flowers ripped up by kids or people who are drunk vomiting in their swimming pool. So just please be respectful if you're going to go that route. It could be a very lovely backdrop to your wedding. So picking your minister. Maybe some of you have a regular church you go to, or synagogue or temple, and that these people can serve you. That's a lovely idea, because you can let the people who've known you for a very long time be part of your wedding too, if you want. And you have a better idea of what is available to you or not. If you go to a destination wedding or a wedding chapel, a place that you could use, I know it's in the southeast, is the God Squad. They have a list of ministers you can pick from. And the minister may also know a caterer or a musician that you could use, and the venue might know as well. So the next thing is your dress. I don't really understand why people spend so much money to destroy a dress. The tradition is a woman would have a wedding dress and she would pack it away, and then her daughter would take the same dress if she could fit it, alter it to her taste, and wear it for her wedding, pack it up, and it would go on for several generations until it wasn't usable anymore. And white is just one of the many colors you can wear. Historically, wealthy people would wear colorful clothing to show that they had more money. So it's all over the place. I've played for a wedding where the bride wore black. Yeah. So just have fun with it. It's your special day. Some cheaper options for wedding dresses. You could go with something that isn't a traditional wedding dress, something you could refit to wear for other occasions. Or there are the options of used stores. It's sort of a strange idea to wear somebody else's wedding dress because you didn't know how their wedding turned out, or their marriage. But it is an option if you do need a cheaper dress. I sing opera a lot, so I need a lot of fancier dress clothes. So one thing that works for me is to have a simple sheath kind of dress and then put something glitzy over the top of it. You could do something like that. So the catering. I think the best idea would be absolutely be potluck. I mean, people want to share their joy with you. I don't think they'd have a problem with making a little side dish to bring. Um, if you're catering, you really have to think about the number of people and the cost of the plates. And then there's the issue who has allergies and who has, yeah, eating choices. Are they vegetarian or whatever? The potluck makes takes that away. You can have different people can bring dishes that they can eat. Um, Here's my specialty, the music. Please, 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 I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. Please pick your wedding musician very early in your wedding planning. And this is also a help for you because we constantly get calls for people whose weddings in 2 weeks, maybe 1 week, and they want music. I'm a human, I'm not a machine. I cannot practice and give you an excellent product in that short of time. In fact, a lot of musicians, if you do not book them within a month of your wedding, they are going to give you an upcharge of up to 50%. That's a lot. I personally charge $250 an instrument. This covers me traveling to your event and the rehearsal. I insist on going to the rehearsal, and you should also insist that your musician goes to the rehearsal, even if they know the venue, because you never know how long it takes people to get down the aisle, especially if there's kids involved. Oh, my thought train derailed. Music, it's pretty much all over the place, with the exception, as I said before, the certain denominations only accept their church hymns or religious songs. They do not accept secular songs like popular wedding music, Here Comes the Bride, the wedding march to leave. They're a little more lax on incidental music for like the prelude and the postlude, but for the service they are usually pretty strict, some of them. So you have to know that in advance. So how do you go about picking wedding music? What are the bones of this? There's several parts, and I realize that people who don't do music don't understand this. So I do need to explain this, I think, to help you out. There's the prelude to start out with. This is the music that the musician plays as your guests are coming in and sitting down and chatting. It's very easygoing kind of music usually. If you want to save yourself a lot of frustration, I would go ahead and let the wedding musician pick all the incidental kind of music, the prelude and the postlude, which is when your guests get up and leave. The next major part in a service is what I call the walk-up music. I know I used to play baseball organ, so I call it the walk-up music. This is the song that you choose for your bridesmaids, your groomsmen to walk up the aisle, and your flower girl and ring bearer. I like to suggest to pick one song for the wedding party to come in and a separate one for the bride. This way, the bride gets all the attention because the music is changing and attention is on her where it's supposed to be. Or groom if you're a same-sex marriage, okay, with guys. But, yeah. I'm going to say this generally, so this is for anybody, so put in who you want, okay. Let's see what else I wanted to say. There's usually a meditation or a candle lighting, and that's also a nice place for a little music. It's usually a very short piece. And the last thing is really the recessional one, after they say, here is Mr. or Mrs. or whatever, so-and-so, and everybody leaves. Traditionally, this is the wedding march. Da, 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 da. So I would say pick a happy song for that one if you're not picking standard music or confined by church music. There is an option to live music, and that is pre-recorded music, which is absolutely fine. The difference is with pre-recorded music, you just stop the music. It could be in the middle of a word, in the middle of a phrase. It could sound really clunky. That's the only difference really between the pre-recorded and live music, is a live musician can tailor it and end it in a nice way so it doesn't sound so awkward. Let's see. I got my list down here. I wanted to talk about. People go like, oh my goodness, $250 for one instrument. Well, I wanted to explain. This is how it works. You pick the music. I have to get the music. I have to practice the music. I come to your wedding rehearsal. I come to your wedding, of course. So for every hour I spend with you, I'm actually practicing 4 to 8 hours. So it works out to be not much money per hour. And I have to be paid for my time and training too. And that's why it costs so much. And so that's something to think about when you're planning your budget. I don't know if I said this, but because I've tried this video twice, but do insist that your church musician come to the wedding rehearsal. A lot of them won't anymore, but it's really crucial to knowing how long it takes you to get up the aisle, especially if kids are involved. I can't read my writing, which is not surprising. I think the one last thing is talking about paying people a lot, because a lot of people ask me, and I generally have people pay at the wedding rehearsal, not because I'm going to leave town, although I did book a musician who didn't come to the wedding. It was a really odd, embarrassing event, but they got the money back, but still it was awful. But anyway, at the wedding rehearsal, because the day of the wedding is so frantic and people will forget, and you don't want to do that to anybody who's been part of your wedding ceremony. But the most important thing is have fun, enjoy. Unfortunately, I've heard from most people that they plan and they plan and they plan for months, and then the actual event comes and they don't remember a thing. So hopefully that isn't you. Hopefully you have the most beautiful wedding, and more importantly, the best marriage that lasts for your lifetime. So enjoy, and God bless. Bye.